Welcome back, everyone. How are we doing today? This is Barry and Eric again from Moss Pawn and Guns. We got yet another gun gripe for you. Sorry we were late this week. We ended up having quite a busy week and we weren't able to get to it last night. But anywho, today's gun gripe is going to be about misinformation in the media when it's related to guns. And of course, as you all know, this is definitely a thing that's just been going on for years and years. All these misconceptions, misterminology that's thrown out, and basically just all of these things related to the media and how they portray gun owners, firearms in general, magazines, all sort of things. I mean, this subject could really be hours long if we were to go into just all of the detail from all the media standpoints. But we're going to touch on a few of the areas in the media that we think are the worst. So what you have to consider off the ground is what is considered the media. Right. So, you hear the term media thrown around. Well, what you're looking at right now is media. YouTube is media. The news is media. You have newspapers, internet websites is media. Anything that people congregate to for information can be considered some form of media. Nowadays, even websites like Facebook, MySpace, Twitter, all of those items are used for mass communication, mass media, and it's something that can be used to transmit solid information or non-credible information. So we're going to give you a few of the highlights there as to what we think misinformation in the media is.
Well, this is the biggest one. To the media, this is an assault rifle. There's not an assault rifle. There's not an assault rifle in this whole room. An assault rifle has to have full auto capability. Now, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution was running this article yesterday. It says Obama won't seek to outlaw assault rifles. Okay? This is not an assault rifle. It also says President Barack Obama will not push for stricter gun laws this election year. Well, read between the lines.
They can say what they want, but
well, they're not going to do it this year. They got it planned down the road.
If he's reelected.
And he says that he believes that AK-47s belong only on the battlefield, not in the streets of America.
Right.
But see, this is all the thought police. Just because you can buy an open bolt MAC-10 and convert it to full auto doesn't make you a criminal unless you do it.
That's right.
Now, this gun,
and for the system to just assume that because it can be done that you're going to do it, it's already criminalizing you from the ground up anyway. They're just setting you up for that.
Now, the assault rifle bill that Bill Clinton signed in by executive order, it did not outlaw this weapon. It outlawed this. You couldn't have a folding stock. It had to be pinned permanently open. It converted your 30-round magazine to a 10-rounder.
Okay.
You could not have a bayonet lug.
Mm-hmm.
You could not have a threaded muzzle. A threaded muzzle, bayonet lug, this and this doesn't fall under sporting purpose.
Yeah, they consider that to be a non-sporting purpose. But the thing that people need to remember about that is they have our whole Second Amendment rights under the guise that it's about sporting purposes. But I'm going to tell you what, regardless of what this weapon is used for, or what this gun is used for, it's only a weapon in the hands of somebody who wants to use it as such.
Right.
It's a tool. This gun is a tool no matter what I want to use it for. If I want to shoot a coyote with it, it's a tool. If I have to shoot someone that's trying to deprive me of my life and liberty, then it's a different kind of tool. But at its heart, it's a tool. And I'll tell you what, the Second Amendment has nothing to do with sporting purposes. They can, try to water it down and that light all they want. But at the end of the day, ultimately, it's all about saving your life and the people around you and protecting you from large government that would be willing to deny you of your rights and freedoms and liberties.
Well, Dianne Feinstein was on Fox News the other morning. They were asking her some questions, and one fellow said about the Colorado movie theater shooting, said if another citizen had returned fire on this guy, maybe it could have been stopped. And her reaction was typical knee-jerk reaction. Well, it would have started a firefight and more people would have gotten killed. No, that's not what would have happened. If you're in a theater and somebody starts shooting people at random and you return fire to him, he's got to make a choice. Either I duck for cover or I shoot at that guy that's shooting at me. And it's drawing fire away from the innocent folks in the theater.
That's right. That's right.
Now, one of our customers, we were discussing, and he said, well, Barry, you got to understand it was the guy threw smoke bombs. There's probably smoke in the air, people running left and right. So what? nobody was threatening this man. He could move around at will and do what he wanted to do.
One of the things about that whole situation that kind of gets me is, of course, anytime you look at a situation like the Colorado shooting, hindsight is always 20/20. You can never say it would have went this way, it would have went that way. You can't say that because no one knows. If you weren't there, you wouldn't know. But he was caught alive. So that tells you right there, he had no plans to die. If he had any inkling in his mind that he wanted to die that day, he would have shot it out with the police until they killed him.
Or he would have
But
shot
he
himself.
didn't. So what that tells you, from a mentality standpoint of where his mind is at, he wasn't willing to die for that cause. So what that tells me is that if somebody would have started slinging some lead at him, then he probably would have stopped, lost his will to fight, and ran away. But, of course, that's speculation.
Well, they said he was fully armored from head to foot and all this kind of thing. But if he's taking incoming fire, he's going to, first what I'm trying to say, if he sees someone shooting him, he is going to try to take that person out.
That's instinct.
Instinct. He's going to fire at the most dangerous individual in the room, and he's going to draw fire away from the innocent folks there.
That's right. We're getting away a little bit from the media aspect.
Right.
Now, the way the media ballooned that whole thing up is that, you know, they're talking about him wearing body armor. Okay, they always use terms like body armor, you know, high-capacity assault rifle. They always make it sound so evil and scary, and they make it sound like, oh, he had 6,000 rounds of ammunition. Well, nobody can carry 6,000 rounds of ammunition. Me and Barry figured it out. Okay, so let's say that you have 7,000 rounds of 22 rimfire ammunition, all right, which is a feasible thing. A strong guy could carry 7,000 rounds of 22 LR in a knapsack or whatever. 7,000 rounds in a usable status would be, let's just say, 25 round BX-25 magazines. That is 280 Ruger BX-25 magazines loaded in order to have 7,000 rounds of ammunition ready to go. And that's in the smallest caliber you could feasibly carry. Now, if you were to carry 7,000 rounds of 5.56 in 30 round magazines, that's 233 30 round magazines of 5.56, which would weigh 33 times the standard combat load that average U.S. infantryman carries in Afghanistan.
Right.
Standard combat load is 7 magazines, 6 in the bandolier, 1 in the gun. That's 33 times as much ammunition as a standard infantryman carries into battle. That is nowhere near feasible for the average person to carry and maneuver with. So that's another example of how the media just blows things up. They take numbers and they just blow them up way beyond what they really should be.
Well, when Bill Clinton signed an executive order, the crime bill in 1994, it sunsetted in 2004. It was a 10-year executive order. The very night before this bill was supposed to sunset, they were showing police officers on the range firing M16s. And they were saying, after today, this is the kind of gun you can walk in your gun store and buy. This is the media. The media.
I remember it was Monica Kaufman, too.
Yes, it was Monica Kaufman who reported that.
That's right.
I mean, you know, but she's reporting what her information that she has.
Yep.
And I remember one day I was eating lunch at home, and when the assault rifle bill was about to be signed in 1994, Monica Kaufman again.
That's right.
Got on there and said, after the assault rifle ban is signed by executive order, you will be allowed to keep one of your assault rifles.
Right.
And I'm thinking to myself, whoa, really?
That's right.
Well, I don't own an assault rifle, ma'am.
Exactly. I mean, there's no such thing. To call something an assault rifle, again, we're back to just a common sense type thing. You know, to just label something an assault rifle is retarded.
It is.
I hate to use the word retarded, but it's not logical because, I mean, okay, I take a fork sitting on the table. Sure, I could kill you with that fork if I wanted to bad enough, but to make it an assault fork just because it's sitting on the table, only someone out of their right mind would consider an inanimate object dangerous. Right. That's almost a childlike mentality to consider an inanimate object dangerous. This pistol is an inanimate object. It's not going to do anything unless I make it. If I take this gun and set it out on the corner of the street and no one touches it for 100 years, it's going to rust away into nothing. But without a human being using this gun as a tool for whatever use that they think they need to have out of it, it's nothing. This gun is nothing without the human factor put into it.
And don't think they won't go after your hunting rifle either, your bolt-action hunting rifle.
That's right.
To the Clintons and the Bradys, a bolt-action hunting rifle with a scope is a sniper rifle.
Right.
They tried to stick that on the hunters after they got everything they wanted with this done. Then they tried to say, well, that's a sniper weapon, sniper rifle.
And what happened in the long run also is that with the assault weapons ban, of course, it was concluded when the assault weapons ban sunsetted, they found that it did not decrease crime in any way.
It didn't do a thing.
It really was just a bunch of loopholes for the gun manufacturers to have to jump through. Because at its heart, if you take a Colt SP1 of any type, one of the original Sporter, ban era ARs, the gun is still the same gun at its heart. There's nothing different really about the gun other than its bastardized form.
Right.
And there were still 30-round magazines floating around out there. They just could not manufacture those 30-round magazines. But the thing is, there were so many surplus. Now, granted, the price went up on them.
Right.
But the average person could still get all of the damn high-capacity magazines they wanted. So it's just anyway.
Well, here's the thing. If you don't have these now, if it's signed into law the way it was before, this magazine will go from $15 to $115 overnight.
Same thing on these Glock sticks. 33-round Glock mag. I know a lot of you don't think much about high-cap mags, but me, personally, I'm a big fan of high-cap mags for several reasons. One, it provides you a lot of firepower. If you're in a situation where there's more than one person trying to kill you or whatever, you got extra firepower. Two, from a range standpoint, if they want to make it out like, well, you don't need high-capacity magazines for self-defense, well, whatever. That's for each person to figure out what they might need. This is also nice at the range. At home, you can load you up all your 33-round magazines. You can shoot longer on the range without having to reload. But of course, they don't think about it like that. They just think this evil stick sticking out of the bottom of this Glock is just going to jump off the table and kill you. That's just not the case.
That's nice. Under the crime bill, that was a legal magazine, nothing over 10.
That's right.
So there you go.
So back to the media. I mean, you're talking about just media in general. You've got all the news. Of course, they report. They always use the term assault weapon. They use high-capacity magazine. See, they throw all of that stuff out there to just, keep stamping it into your minds that subliminally, at some point, you'll begin to accept that is fact and not just opinion.
Right.
And sadly, that's what's occurring. A lot of our younger generation, of course, raised on video games. You always see the term assault rifle, assault weapon. You see sniper rifle, sniper gun, all this stuff thrown around in the video game community and everything. And of course, that hurts gun owners too, because we have young people come in here, and we love introducing new shooters to guns in general. But we'll have young people come in and say, "Yo, let me see that sniper," and they want to see, let me see that P90, and oh, you got a full auto Glock 18. But see, they play video games, and that's all they're exposed to. So they'll look at this case of Glocks and they'll say, oh wow, that's a case of full auto Glocks. But that's all they know, because nobody's taught them the proper terminology.
But kind of in closing, we've got a lot of subscribers, young subscribers that call us and tell us how much they appreciate us. And I tell every one of those young subscribers, I can tell by the tone of their voice, they're patriots and they care about this country and they love this country. And I tell them, you are the future of this country. People like me, we're not going to be around much longer. So we have to keep this thing going. And we got more and more people coming in here buying their first gun. We were discussing that the other morning. A lot of time years ago, somebody coming in, well, I want to get me another AR. I want to get me another handgun. Now, I'm in here to get my first gun.
That's
because
right.
I think I need it. And
It was always repeat business.
Right.
It was always people coming and they're getting, their second Mauser, their second AR, their second hunting rifle, whatever, second 22. But now we see more and more people, they want that first gun. They're worried. They see the stuff that happens on the news. They see stuff like the Aurora shootings, and they think, I need to be armed. I need to be able to protect myself. And I think that the fact that our society, we get more and more people that are arming themselves now, to me, that shows that we are advancing as a society. We're becoming a more mature society. We're realizing that people do need to have guns. Average people need to have guns. Cops are realizing that average people need to have guns. So you can't always listen to what the media says. And there's also a lot of jackwagons on YouTube too. I mean, I know I'm not going to point fingers or anything like that or name names, but there are anti-gun channels out there on YouTube that try to peddle their bogus agenda.
Right.
And of course, I mean, YouTube is another form of media. whether we like to accept it or not. I mean, we are essentially a part of the media. We just do it in our own way, and I like to think that we provide sensible input, what average, true red-blooded Americans are going to consider to be the way it is. And I think that most Americans that own guns probably think the way we do, maybe not to such extremes in some cases, but you know, I think that everyone that has ever owned a gun definitely doesn't want to give up their guns, I'll tell you that right now, no matter what it is. Doesn't matter if it's a single-shot Flober. Once you're introduced to guns and you experience the freedoms and the rights of owning firearms, it's something that you never want to give up. And I'm glad that our society is, you know, moving forward in that. And hopefully, you know, a lot of these bogus old laws that are on the books will be repealed, like maybe the Hughes Amendment will get rid of. You know, a lot of the older type arrangements like that we can get rid of, and hopefully get the manufacture of full auto weapons reinstated. Hopefully make the process for putting in paperwork for suppressors a lot easier to do. That's something that there's a lot of suppressors that get registered on a regular basis. So I would really like to see the process for getting a suppressor a lot quicker and easier and more efficient. There's no reason why the average person should have to wait any amount of time over a reasonable amount of time to get something like a suppressor or a machine gun transfer.
Well, in closing too, if you go out and buy your first gun, seek professional advice with it and seek training.
That's right.
Every time there's a gun accident that happens and a kid gets killed or something like that, it gives the anti-gunners more fuel for their fire.
That's right.
There's I believe the statistics, there's 7,000 people a day in this country that are saved by the presence of a gun. That doesn't mean the gun is actually being fired.
It just means it's introduced to the situation.
Right. It's introduced to the situation.
That's right. So remember, when you're hearing those terms and everything floating around in the media, don't give them much thought. You know what the real deal is in your mind and in your heart. You know what that rifle's meant to do and what it's there for. I will close with just this final statement. I noticed I went into Walmart the other day to buy some bricks of .22 ammo, and I noticed that Walmart had a sign up now that says, "Get your accessories here for your modern sporting rifle." And they had a whole rack of ARs.
AR accessories, yeah.
So no, they had a whole rack of AR rifles.
And rifles
and with
too.
30-round mags in them.
Right.
So I'm really glad, as much as I don't really like supporting Walmart because they're a big box company, I like to buy from mom and pop. But when I do buy from Walmart, at least I know that they're getting a little bit more common sense about the weapons that they'll have in their store for sale. And I'm glad to see a rack of ARs there. I really am. So I'm glad that they're embracing the concept. It is even though they labeled it a modern sporting rifle, at least they don't have something on there like assault rifle.
Yeah.
You know, that would just be goofy. So I'm glad that they're at least accepting the fact that it's a gun that's here to stay.
Well, what makes a gun a sporting weapon? Okay.
The user.
There's a 50 caliber shooters association that shoots the big 50 caliber guns.
The user makes it a sporting weapon.
Right.
You know, if I use this
to play tin cans.
That's right. If I go out and pop tin cans, I'm using it for sporting purposes. If I go out and hunt coyotes with it, that's sporting purposes. If somebody breaks in my house and I put 5 in their chest, well, that's what the Second Amendment's for.
This gun under Georgia law is legal for deer hunting.
That's
in
right.
Georgia it is.
That's right.
So, I mean, it's a sporting weapon.
But anyway, the point we try to drive home with this video is that there's a lot of misinformation in the media. Of course, this is nowhere near all of it. There's a ton of it out there. But just use your common sense. You know what's right and what's not. And, you know, we all have to be sensible about the decisions we make as gun owners and how we portray gun owners. You know, just remember that when you leave the house every day, if you're carrying your gun, even if you talk about guns in a given day, you are representing the gun-owning community. So you want to make sure that you're representing them properly, that you're giving out factual information, factual terms, you're teaching people the right way to do things, and you're walking a straight line and doing it by the book.
Yep.
And if we can all do that, and we can all bring someone in to the shooting community and make it larger, it's only going to be better for protecting our Second Amendment rights in the long run.
So I guess me and Eric are going to sign off for this week on the gun gripe, and we'll have a gun facts for you Monday.
Oh yeah.
And we'll continue to do these things. Everybody likes the gun gripes, and they like the gun facts. It worked out real well.
It's been doing well.
Worked out real well.
So for now, I'm going to go load my clips.
Okay.
All right.
We'll load her up.
Did that screw with him.
Oh yeah.